thank you to Topaz Wolf for their generous donation on Patreon. If you would like to join them in their generosity, the link to my Patreon page is in the description. Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome back to the Smoke Room. On the last episode, I think it was William's route, wasn't it? But that's not what we're doing this time, because this time, Cliff got an update. So, I'm really looking forward to this one, in particular, and I like them all, but, there seemed to be some sort of a disturbance. And so there we go. Mainly due to that fucking noise. So let's see, what was that? That's not Cliff's noise. Ooh. Jesus, another roar sounds. Almost like a person screaming. But it isn't. Cliff clings to me, his fingers dig into my back, his breaths are short, shallow, and I catch the smell of peppermint. Do you think it's a predator? Can't be. I heard footsteps. Heavy ones. Just like the ones I heard that night Cliff was with me. I don't reckon it is. Jebediah crawls out of his tent, tossing a book behind him. He has a severe look on his face. Murdoch ain't too far behind, rubbing at his eyes with a dark paw. Can't be. What the? Oh. He can't be a man, and then Jebediah hushes him. Oh boy, this is scary. You know when Jebediah is all kinds of fucked up, that there's a problem. You heard it as well? Jebediah nods, holding a finger in front of his muzzle. He speaks, mouthing his words more than he whispers them. Douse the fire. The smoke will hide our scent. Whoa. Cliff looks at the horse, brows twitching, as if even his face is unsure of what expression is appropriate. It was so peaceful moments ago, but right now it's stuck somewhere between shock and tears. But Jebediah frowns. Douse the fire. I have to speak it, but whatever. I wrest myself free from Cliff, knocking him onto the forest floor. I struggle, clamoring for the bucket of water we'd filled up earlier. Why would you waste water? You don't need water to douse a fire. Whatever. The fire hisses and sputters as I empty its contents. The wood smolders for a second. Darkness and smoke follow. I drop the bucket. A splash of water hits my paw. Something rustles through the bushes. One moment it's on one side, the next it's on the other side. Do not move a muscle. His voice can barely be called a whisper. The smoke's damn near suffocating me. I can't see or hear Cliff or Jebediah or Murdoch. Whatever it is, whatever's out there, I can hear it breathe. It's rasping like a dying man. My eyes sting. My throat burns. I've got to get out of this smoke. Leaves crunch under my paws. The snap of a twig sounds loud as thunder. It sprints towards me. Red eyes shimmer in the dark. I can't make out its shape, but I remember that scent clear as day. The dirty gray fur. I bare my claws, putting myself between it and the rest. I'm running on pure instinct now. I can only hope Cliff is still behind me. It grazes me, knocking me off balance. I can hear Cliff screaming before my head hits the ground hard. Pain surges through my entire body, and I grit my teeth just to stay awake. My vision is blurry. I see red, but I don't know if it's Murdoch's fur or the dying embers of the fire. I reach out to it, only for another scream to sound out, followed by utter chaos. Then flesh is torn. Bones break. I hear a donkey bray, followed by the clopping of its hooves. Something scrapes over the ground next to me. It's a dreadful sound. I sniff the air, catching a metallic scent. Blood. Fresh blood. I crack an eye open. Oh, what the hell? Immediately, I wish I'd kept it closed. A donkey is staring straight at me, face twisted in an unearthly way. Soulless, almost, were it not for its still-moving eye. Its body is a few yards behind it, contorted and broken. I look away just as the head is scraped further over the ground, rolling onto my other side. I've seen my fair share of horrid things recently, but this is beyond belief. The soil underneath me is warm and damp. It sticks to my shirt, coloring it shades of pink and red. I can see streaks on my arm, even in the dark. My arms go limp. I can't lift them. The last bits of strength I had drain from my body, and darkness takes me. My last words are a prayer. My last thoughts are of hell. Of hell. And of home. Don't think you get to go softly. There's something tied around my neck. Thick, heavy, coarse. You don't deserve to go softly. Not after what you did. The voice is right in my ear. It's barely audible over the noise of a crowd. This has got to be hallucination. There's cloth covering my eyes. I can see the pattern on it when I open them. I try raising my hands to take it off, but they're bound behind my back. The rope chafes against my fur and digs into my skin. The more I struggle, the more it hurts. William? Is that you? There's no slipping out of this one. I hear footsteps on wood. Murder is a serious crime, Sam. I didn't mean to. I swear it, he tricked me! You've only got yourself to blame. I can barely hear his voice as it's overpowered by the chanting of the crowd, all shouting from my head. You've got to believe me. I didn't. He attacked me. I hang my head. The billfold's getting damp. The blindfold's getting damp. Billfold. I can't even hear myself cry. Please, William. Please. But Sam, isn't this what you wanted? All this time you've been running away. The voice grows colder, more distant. It shifts in tone, shifts in pitch, like some sort of strange machine. From your home, from your state, from the mines, you've used people. Left people behind. And now you're running from Echo. Where's that gotten you? Right here. At the end of, oh my god, at the end of my rope. Holy shit, what was all that? The voice is William's again, but it isn't him. It's far darker, dripping with hatred. Isn't this what you wanted, Sam? My chin is tipped up by a paw. I can feel something's hot breath on me. It reeks. To finally stop running. To stop going in circles. The one underneath me creaks. All it takes is a pull of the lever. A laugh. It won't hurt a bit. Unless you keep struggling. Something clicks. Any last words? Please don't. Goodbye, Sam. The floor gives way under me. The falls an eternity compressed into a single second. Then the rope pulls taut. Something snaps. The sensation of falling stops. Oh my god. I even said it had to be a hallucination, and yet I still fucking sank right into that. I'm in a sitting position, half covered by a thin wool blanket. I cover my cheek in my paw. It's freezing, but I welcome any kind of feeling right now. Even the dull throb hammering away in the back of my head. I'm alive. My heart's pounding in my chest, but I'm alive. I recline again. The sky above me is a dark blue, barely visible from underneath the dense tree line. I reckon the sun's about to rise. I rub up my eyes, sniffing the air for any sign of the others. Catch a faint whiff of smoke and flowers. You're awake! Oh my goodness! I never thought I'd be glad to hear Cliff speak. I look in the direction the voice came from. Sure enough, there's Cliff, Murdoch, and Jebediah sitting around the smoldering campfire. It's a lot more modest than the one we made together. There's no sign of the supplies or tents. Did we move? Cliff crawls over to me. His big blue eyes got even bigger. He lets out a delighted squeak before turning. He's awake! Murdoch follows, though rather than crawling over, he just walks. Jebediah stays put, not even glancing in my direction. Reaches for a flask. I can smell out the alcohol from here. Well, I'll be. How you feeling, Sam? Takes me a second to process that question. I'm feeling a lot of things right now. I scratch behind my ears. Like I just wrangled a bear and lost. He grins. No hidden meaning behind it this time. Not too far from the truth. We thought you weren't going to make it. You hit your head pretty hard. What happened? Well, our camp was attacked by some manner... He swallows. Some manner of beast. His voice and the way he's trembling is making my fur stand on end. Calm down. He draws in a deep breath. It tore through our tents and supplies as though they were made of paper. We managed to get to safety, but... It was either you or the supplies. We couldn't risk losing you. He puts his paw on mine, then retracts it quickly. You're cold. Taking the corners of the blanket, he drapes it over me again. I warm up almost immediately. I'm sorry. I'm just glad you're alive. Cold is better than dead, at any rate. You're lucky Cliff knew how to administer first aid. The weasel scratches the back of his head. It was nothing. So what now? We wait until the sun's up. The horse takes a swig from his flask. Then we go back. He gets to his feet. We're slow without donkeys, but we're dead without the supplies. Is it even safe to go back? Sam still needs time to heal. I'm all right. I roll on my shoulders and hear something crack. Are you sure? Fit as a fiddle. I don't want your wounds getting infected. Even scrapes can fester and kill you out in the wilderness. I wave him off. It's just a headache. And wounds from the mines I can't tell them about. I should have some laudanum in my satchel. Lauda what? Always been bad with big words. Something for the pain. He frowns. But my satchel's with the other supplies. What about that big-ass backpack you got on your back? I suppose we don't have much of a choice, then. I do at least have some water in my pack. It's not much, but we can fill up our flasks once we find the stream again. Can you stand? Can you stand, Sam? You can try. I brace myself against the ground and push myself up. I'm sore all over. There's some scratches and scabs on my arm. Cliff watches me with a pained expression, paws balled into fists. Takes me a moment, and even when I'm on my feet, I don't feel all that stable. But at least I'm standing. I try walking next. The ground's uneven, and the dirt shifts underneath my paws. Every step's a gamble. But it doesn't hurt. Think I'll be okay. You can lean on me. He smiles at me. Thanks. Don't mention it. But the next time you decide to jump in front of some large creature, do tell me first. You might be used to taking a pounding, but my back sure isn't. I can't always be there to carry you. Damn. Ooh, look at this picture. By the time the first rays of sunlight hit the forest, we head out. It's still cool out, and the woods are still dead silent. There's less small talk. In fact, barely anyone saying a word. Cliff's eyes never leave me, and Murdoch stays close to pick me up when I stumble. Once I'm used to being on my feet again, we pick up the pace just a little. Jebediah, for once, isn't walking in front. He doesn't make eye contact when I look over my shoulder. You carried me this far? Murdoch chuckles. It was a group effort. You're pretty heavy, you know that? I tilt my head. And that thing didn't follow you? No, He looks back at Jebediah, then lowers his voice. After it took you down, it dragged one of the donkeys deep into the woods. He winces. Took his head clean off. And the other donkey? Ran away. It wasn't a pretty sight. He pauses, tapping his chin. Kinda strange, come to think of it. It could have killed us all pretty easily. So why didn't it? Maybe he's just looking for a quick meal. He shrugs. Any of us would have sufficed. We've got more meat on our bones than those donkeys can bind. Did you want us to die? Not in this particular way, no. I'm just happy my equipment survived the ordeal. Perhaps the creature meant to frighten us. You think so? As you said, if it meant to kill us, it had ample time and strength to do so. It's just a thought, of course. I've not heard about any stories or urban legends regarding rat-like monsters in the region. It wasn't a rat, though. It was! I saw it! It was more fox-like. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Did you see anything, Sam? I try and remember what I saw, but I just end up drawing blanks. I got knocked out before I could get a good look at it. Strange. If we hadn't almost gotten ourselves killed, I would have said it bears... Oh, okay. Bears investigating. Yeah, I was like, what bears? Were there bears now? No, that was stupid of me. Perhaps the Meseta will know more. Do you know anything, Jebediah? If I did, you'd be the first to know. Come on, we need to pick up the pace. I yawn. I must have been out all night, and yet I'm exhausted all the same. Are we going the right way? We should be. Look. He points to a large tree on the side of the path. An X is etched into the bark, no doubt marked by claws. We marked some of the trees on the way so we wouldn't get lost. Jebediah tell you to do that? Murdoch whispers again. It was Cliff's idea, actually. I raise a brow. Jebediah's been awful quiet ever since last night, even for him. Can you blame him? Not at all. I mean, every man's allowed to mourn in his own way. Makes me wonder if anyone's out there mourning or even looking for Huxley. Who the hell's Huxley? Oh, yeah, Huxley. He must have had a wife, a family. Someone who cared for him despite everything he did. Jebediah's our compass in these woods. We're like headless chickens without him. I got ears, you know. Oh, Jesus. What was a compliment? What? Why are y'all shocked? You're a compliment to him. Murdoch seems to realize what he said, ears pinning to his head. Terribly sorry. Said Jebediah's the compass. We need him. What? I don't understand where the insult was, but maybe I'm just dense. Maybe. Jebediah passes us. His eyes are unfocused, and he smells of whiskey. You okay? He certainly doesn't look it. I don't think he's in much of a state to lead anyone right now. We should be getting close. We reach a fork in the path. Jebediah takes a step forward, staggering. His mane is messy. The difference between him now and yesterday is like night and day. Cliff's already passed him, walking over to one of the trees on the left side and runs his fingers up the bark. Strange. This doesn't make sense. These trees should be marked. He eyes Murdoch. I marked them all right, don't think I forgot. I'd forget. Damn near ripped a claw or two off doing it, too. Jebediah sighs, rubbing his temples. We don't have time for this. Follow me. Oh, Lord. He heads down the path to the left and motions for us to follow. In spite of the sun rising, it isn't getting any brighter. The foliage is getting thicker, blocking out more and more of the morning sun. It's as though it never rose in the first place. Even the local wildlife's getting quieter the deeper we go. Before long, we get to another fork in the road. This time we go right, passing a large rock. There are no marks on the trees in front of us. When I ask Jebediah, he insists we're going the right way. So we keep walking down winding paths. Bushes and weeds have completely overtaken some of them. Even for a forest, it feels abandoned, lost, as if we shouldn't be here. What happened last night only makes the feeling that much worse. We're hungry and tired, our clothes are covered in stains and dust, the slightest noises have us looking us around in panic. I hate to say it, but I almost wish I was back in Echo. I'm starting to miss Cynthia. Wonder how she's doing right about now. What she'd say if she saw me here. What'd she say if she knew I'd been planning to run. Maybe she already knew. Not like I can run anymore. That plan's been dragged out, back, and shot. The voices from my dream are still whispering in my ear, and part of me is starting to think that they were right. We decide to take a little break after about another hour. It's getting warmer, but not any brighter. We just about emptied Cliff's flask of water when the weasel speaks up. We need to head back. I hate to say it, Jebediah, but we're lost. Jebediah furrows his brow and purses his lips. We can't be lost. It was this way. We've been walking for over an hour now. I don't think we're any closer than when we started. The horse takes a step in the weasel's direction. I know this forest. Clearly not as well as you think you do. What am I even paying you for? Think you can do better? I know so. Cliff takes a step towards Jebediah. This could get ugly fast. Then by all means, lead the way. At the very least, I can do so without getting ourselves killed. Excuse me? The paw holding his flask is shaking. Hand me the flask, Jebediah. The horse grits his teeth. Hand me the flask. Murdoch gets off the rock he's sitting on and steps in between the two, holding up a paw. Uh-oh. Oh, Jesus. I don't like the art on this face Murdoch has. Everything is so much more defined, and he's looking right at the camera, which doesn't usually happen. I don't like it. Calm down, the both of you. Fighting won't solve anything. Jebediah, give me the flask. The horse grunts. He hesitates. He finally hands it over. Now, instead of thinking problems, let's think solutions. Wait, hold on. His nose twitches. Do you smell that? I sniff the air. Next to me, Cliff does the same. I smell trees and flowers. I sniff again and catch something else this time. It's faint, but I smell ash and smoke on the wind. We're not alone in these woods. Someone must be nearby. Could be trouble. Or it could be our old fucking campsite. We might have just gone in a goddamn circle. Murdoch sniffs the air again, then walks off, beckoning for us to follow. We push through the shrubs and past trees, going off the beaten path. The smell of ash and burnt wood is getting stronger. This is it. Stay close. I put myself between the source of the scent and Cliff, baring my claws again. No matter what we end up fighting, I'm not getting taken by surprise this time. I step into the clearing. There's a small campfire at the center. By the looks and smell of it, it wasn't put out that long ago. Next to it's a little group of 4 tents that I reckon I could fit just about one person each. One of them's got patches sewn all over. Someone must have really wanted to keep it all in one piece. Bags are haphazardly strewn across the clearing. Some have their contents spilling out on the forest floor. No doubt there's enough supplies here to feed a small group. No sign of any wagons, though. Do you see anyone? Not yet. Good, I've had it up to here with monsters. Keep your voice down. Claws still bare just in case I walk into the camp. A tingle runs down my spine. A camp this deep into the woods can only mean trouble, right? The campfire's still smoking. Whoever this camp belonged to must have left in a hurry. Maybe we weren't the only people to fall victim to whatever that creature was. Jebediah comes up behind me. I recognize that tent. His voice sounds urgent, scared almost. He runs past us to the patched-up tent in the middle of it all. Without waiting for us, he opens the flaps. When he looks back at us, there are no words coming out of his muzzle at first. Only a pained grimace. Then... It's empty. He buries his face in his hands. We gotta look. He can't have gone far. Who are you talking about? Avery. He's here. I have to find him. He paces between the tents, looking in each and every one of them. Avery? Your friend? He says nothing, just nods. His breathing is irregular, frantic. As I walk past the tents myself, I notice marks on the forest floor. They start at one side of the campfire and lead into the forest. The little plants that there were in the way must have been flattened and crushed beyond recognition. I kneel down next to them. I found something. The rest of the group joins me shortly. These marks. They're drag marks. Someone must have gotten carried away. He runs his fingers over them. They ain't too wide, or deep for that matter. Fairly straight, too. Whoever got dragged was thin, light. He sighs. There wasn't much of a struggle. Let's not come to any hasty conclusions. Maybe they were carried to safety. Even if that's true, safety from what? We look into the woods. The trees are so dense that we can't see too far out. We need to move. There's a rustling noise off into the distance. I prick my ears up. More footsteps. Leaves and twigs crunching. Find a weapon. That was a weird way to say it. Find a weapon. I scan the surrounding area for something. Anything. I end up settling for one of the pieces of wood near the campfire. Footsteps sound closer, coming from the direction of the drag marks. They ain't as heavy as the ones I heard last night. And there's more of them.
It's people.
That a good or bad thing?
I ain't sure yet. Stay close.
Jebediah and I scramble back to our feet, getting in front of Murdoch and Cliff. I hear a man's voice coming from behind the trees. Is it safe out there? I see movements in the bushes. Another man, his voice much deeper, replies.
Hold on. There's people.
People? What do you mean, people?
I said what I said. Quiet down.
Something hits the floor next to me. Jebediah has dropped the branch he was holding.
Avery? That you?
The deeper voice answers.
Jeb?
I already gave Jebediah a deep voice, not just deep voice crew.
1 second, goddamn branches almost tearing my antlers off.
The more I listen to it, the more I feel like I know that voice. I put my free paw on the back of my head where the stitches had been. Oh, what the hell? Hello. A panting, heavy-set elk comes stumbling out of the woods moments later. His glasses look a little like Cliff's. Everything clicks into place once I see those brown eyes and those big antlers. I've seen him before. Actually, I've seen him plenty. Last time I saw this man, he was poking around with a needle at the back of my head. Takes a moment to catch his breath, peering straight at me. Behind his glasses, his brown eyes go big.
Sam?
The name had sounded familiar, but I had never known me and Jebediah were thinking of the same Avery. Dr. Avery.
Ave! It really is you.
Jebediah walks up to him without saying a word. He embraces the much larger elk.
It's good to see you. Good to see you too.
God damn it. It's hard to distinguish these voices. Avery stares on, rattled, but returns the hug nonetheless. We make eye contact once more. My cheeks feel red hot right about now. I hope he doesn't blab about the stitches to the others, but Jebediah's right. It's good to see someone familiar in this godforsaken forest.
And the Burns boy too?
Howdy, Doc. Avery lets go of Jebediah. The horse wipes his eyes with his sleeves. There are wet streaks on them, and he lowers his arms again.
Quite the odd posse you got here. Who's the short fella?
Short?
A client. Oh, pardon, sir. Didn't mean to offend and all that.
Cliff seems offended all the same. The elk turns his head.
You can come out. They're friendlies.
A kit fox ducks out from behind a tree. He's so scrawny looking, he seems to have more fur than flesh and bones on him. Can't be older than 20, I'd reckon. A large bear follows suit. Judging by their garments, I wouldn't say they're from Echo. What happened here?
I'd tell you, but you'd call me mad.
Was it some sort of monster?
How'd you know?
Because the same thing got to us. Jeb closes his eyes. It killed Doris, Ave. Oh, he was close to the donkeys. Avery's quiet for a moment. He takes a step back.
We're missing a man, too. He was tending the fire when...
He looks at the drag marks.
We were looking for him, but he's nowhere to be found. Whatever it was didn't leave any tracks. No blood, either. It's like he never existed at all.
The bear talks to Avery in a language I don't understand. Avery responds effortlessly. I hear a small squeak behind me. You're with the Meseta? Ah, so that's what it was. Cynthia only ever taught me some of the dirty words.
You know the language?
Only a little. I'm researching the Meseta for my thesis. We were on an expedition to the settlement, but our journey so far has been a complete and utter disaster. We only survived by the skin of our teeth last night.
That explains why Sam here looks more bloody and bruised than a miner after a total collapse.
You know him?
Of course I do. He's a patient of mine.
I grit my teeth, silently praying he doesn't bring up the stitches. He's one of the few who can place me on the day I killed Jack. Gotta change the subject. What were you doing out in the woods, Doctor? He gestures to the bear and fox.
These three, he clears his throat. These two are fishermen. Every 2 weeks or so, they come to Echo to sell their wares on the market. When they're out of fish, they head home. My folks live in these here woods, so I usually tag along most of the way. Never had much trouble until now.
It is interesting that the monster also attacked them, because that means that they weren't just going after us. Or maybe that it came to the woods because of us, but it wasn't just targeting us. Unless there's multiple. He shakes his head, sitting down next to the campfire and reaching for a nearby leather rucksack.
We should take what we can carry and leave before whatever that was comes back. You saw what it did to Shyla, Avery.
I say we stay here for now, at least until it's bright out.
Avery turns to us.
You folks best stay put too.
But we have to get back. Our supplies. My notes.
No notes are worth getting killed over.
You don't understand. Without those notes, my life might as well be over. This expedition is the culmination of years of research into the Masada culture.
He's on the verge of tears.
If I lose that research, I cannot hope to finish my thesis and...
Quiet down and listen to me.
Save for a sniffle, Cliff goes dead silent.
You ain't getting anywhere like this. You're hungry, tired,
He looks at me.
wounded. Your notes and your supplies ain't gonna just up and walk away from you. I don't know a thing about that creature that attacked us. But going there in your state, now that just make you easy pickings.
Cliff seems like he's about to speak up about it, then relents.
Very well. I suppose I am rather peckish.
Avery smiles, lowering the rucksack to the floor.
I'd be happy to trade some fruit for your name, mister.
Tibbets. Clifford Tibbets. Those people around here have taken to calling me Cliff, or less fortunate names.
Cliff it is. My name's Avery. No last name, I already got the one.
Already got the one? I guess that'd be only got the one.
You're a doctor, correct?
Of sorts.
Of sorts.
This is gonna sound real embarrassing, but I'm not a doctor the way you'd expect me to be. Don't exactly have a license or a diploma. I'm just good at what I do. Ask your friends.
He takes an apple from the rucksack and hands it to Cliff. My own stow match growls.
Thank you, Mr. Avery.
I've got enough of those to share.
He offers Jebediah a shiny red one.
Got your favorite, too.
Jebediah swats his hand away.
I ain't hungry, Ave. A man's gotta eat, Jeb.
He shakes the paw holding the apple. Jebediah reluctantly reaches out and takes it.
Fine.
Murdoch and I get one soon after, followed by the fisherman. Nothing fancy, but right now, hungry as I am, it looks as good as a 3-course meal. I bite into it. It's so juicy, I have to wipe my muzzle after I swallow. I notice the smell of blood from earlier still clinging to my torn sleeve. These are great! Thanks, Doc!
Don't mention it. Got more if you need any. It ain't much, but it'll help with the hunger pangs at least. Sam, mind joining me in my tent once you're done?
Cliff's eyes go wide once more. He nearly chokes on the apple in his mouth.
Excuse me?
Don't go getting any ideas. I need to check on his wounds. I don't have any supplies or equipment to deal with an infection here, or the stomatch to deal with an amputation. After that, perhaps we can see if it's safe enough to go see my folks. They're hogging their place, isn't too far from here.
Are you saying we're going to be visiting an authentic Meseta Hogan?
He seems to have forgotten all about his notes.
Authentic?
Wonderful! Splendid!
I don't think he heard Avery. The bear's looking at him from the corner of his eye, confused.
I've got so many questions. If only I had a pen to jot them all down.
He takes a big bite out of his apple.
We'd be most happy to join you.
I didn't know his voice could get so high. Oh, I gotta go.
We'd be so happy to join you.
Probably not a bad idea if the creature hunts at night. Right, Jebediah? The horse grunts. He's getting back to his old self again.
So long as we can get somewhere safe before nightfall. If you're looking for information on the Meseta, ain't no one in the region who knows as much as my ma. Don't tell my pa I said that.